Okay, so first, like, you know, it was really about celebrating each other's catalog. Me and that nigga talk back there, bro. This shit, I ain't just called a nigga out the blue. Me and that nigga talk back there.
You talking about you were 50?
Yeah, man. We talk about this shit, man. This shit just come out of nowhere.
50 Cent just dropped something wild and then made it vanish like it never happened. On March 5th, 2026, he posted an Instagram screenshot with one heavy headline: 50 Cent reportedly developing Surviving T.I. and Tiny documentary. Then just like that, deleted. But the damage was already done, and the whole rap scene felt it instantly. This wasn't some joke post or trolling moment either. This felt like a straight-up warning shot. When someone known for playing around suddenly moves serious, people start paying attention real fast. The energy shifted overnight, and fans started asking what's really going on behind the scenes. To understand why this shook everything, you gotta go back to where things first started cracking. It wasn't drama at first. It actually began as something positive. T.I. and 50 Cent were in talks for a versus battle, that big stage where legends go hit for hit, track for track. T.I. even spoke on it publicly, saying it was about respect and celebrating each other's music. Fans were hyped because this wasn't just any matchup. It was two giants finally stepping into the same space after years of dominating the game. Everything looked like it was building toward a legendary moment. Two icons, same room, honoring their legacy. But clearly, something flipped along the way, and now it's looking way deeper than music. But then 50 Cent switched it up, fast, just like he always does when things start getting serious. One minute it looked like the versus battle was locked in, and the next, he acted like none of it ever happened. He straight up denied there was any agreement, playing clueless in interviews like the whole thing was brand new information to him. And it didn't stop there. He brushed T.I. off publicly and hit him with the nickname King Rat. In hip-hop culture, that's not light talk. That's a serious accusation. That label carries weight, and everybody knows it. It wasn't just disrespect. It was a direct shot that people couldn't ignore. 50 didn't hold back either. He told T.I. clearly to keep his name out of his mouth. That kind of statement only made things louder, not quieter. T.I. wasn't about to stay silent. He jumped on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast and laid it all out. He said, "We talked about this. We said what we were going to do. When I jumped out there, he act like he ain't know what was going on. You could hear the frustration through every word. This wasn't just disagreement anymore. It felt like straight up betrayal."
Because if you're telling, you can't even look forward to going home.
It's gonna be hell.
Where you going after you get out? The neighborhood ain't accepting that. That you bitch ass nigga, we heard you's a rat. Look, even for me personally, my character, they would try to attack my character. They'll say he a rat, or all you gotta do is ask him who I told him.
And the fact that it all played out in public made it hit even harder. T.I. made it clear he wasn't backing down. At that moment, he was already winning in a big way. His single had just hit #1 on urban radio and was breaking into the mainstream top 40. This wasn't luck, this was a real comeback. The kind that reminds everyone why his name still holds weight in the game. Everything was lining up perfectly for him. And then 50 stepped in and disrupted the whole vibe. That public dismissal didn't just land, it cut straight through T.I.'s momentum and put a shadow over everything he was building back up. But that first call out on social media, that was just the beginning. 50 wasn't finished, not even close. There's regular rap beef, and then there's the kind that goes way beyond music. And 50 crossed that line quick. He went right back to Instagram, the same place he's been using for years to take shots and control the narrative. This time, he posted an unflattering photo of T.Y.'s wife, Tamika Tiny Harris. The caption repeated the warning, telling T.I. again to keep his name out of his mouth. But the real message wasn't just in the words, it was in who he targeted. By bringing Tiny into it, 50 made one thing very clear. This wasn't just about music anymore, it got personal. He shifted it from a rap clash to something way deeper, putting the whole family in the spotlight with millions watching every move. And T.I., he wasn't about to stay quiet after that. T.I. hit back the only way someone at his level knows how, through music. And he moved fast. No waiting, no holding back. He dropped multiple diss tracks back to back, including War and The Right One, making it clear he was ready for whatever came next. And on The Right One, he didn't hold anything in. He called 50 a small man in a big shell, a line aimed straight at 50's image. That wasn't random. That was crafted to hit the ego of someone known for power, control, and dominance. But the moment that really shook everything, that came next. I called 50 a 5-0 dispatcher. That's not just a clever line, that's a serious claim. He went even further, saying he had paperwork from people locked up, allegedly tying 50's name to cooperation with authorities. That kind of statement doesn't stay in music, it spreads fast and hits different. This wasn't just lyrical anymore, this turned into something way heavier. Then things escalated even more. The The Harris family didn't stay on the sidelines, they stepped in. T.I.'s sons, King Harris and Damani, both dropped diss tracks aimed straight at 50 Cent.
It's already been known that there are 30 women, at least, that have had allegations of being kidnapped, drugged, raped. Y'all know what those words mean. And 50 Cent is saying he got 20 of them in this surviving T.I. and Tiny coming.
That turned it from a one-on-one battle into a full family situation. And the message behind it all was clear. As they put it, I treated people how they treated us. I treated you know what I'm saying? It wasn't nothing that I wanted to do. It was just something that just had to be done. That statement hit heavy. It didn't sound like entertainment, it sounded personal. At this point, this wasn't just two rappers going back and forth anymore. This turned into a whole family stepping in, standing united and pushing back loud. In most situations, that kind of energy would make people slow things down. It usually signals it's time to cool off. But 50 Cent, he wasn't thinking about de-escalating at all. He had already shifted his focus to something way bigger, something that hit harder than any diss track or social media post. And the crazy part, most people didn't even see it coming yet. Before that documentary post makes full sense, you have to look at what 50 had just done leading into all of this. Because that move right there is what made the entire industry go quiet overnight. By the end of 2025, 50 Cent stepped into a different lane as executive producer on Sean Combs' The Reckoning, a Netflix docuseries that shook the culture instantly. It debuted at #1 as soon as it dropped, pulling massive attention. The series explored serious allegations and long-standing rumors tied to Sean Diddy Combs, along with deeper conversations about industry behavior that people had talked about quietly for years, but never seen presented on such a big stage. And once that happened, everything changed. It quickly became the most talked about documentary of the year, and 50 Cent's presence was all over it. Even though Netflix later made it clear that 50 didn't have full creative control and that participants weren't paid, none of that really mattered to the public. Because in the court of public opinion, people don't focus on fine print, they focus on impact. And the impact here, it hit hard. Diddy's public image took a serious blow, and everybody saw it happen in real time. What 50 proved in that moment changed how people look at power in hip-hop. A documentary can hit harder than a diss track. It lasts longer than a lawsuit, and it cuts deeper than any social media back and forth. It doesn't just disappear after a few days. It stays up, it gets shared, and it keeps reaching new audiences over and over again. That kind of exposure sticks. So when 50 posted that screenshot hinting at a T.I. documentary and then deleted it, it made people stop scrolling instantly. The caption said it all. Remember how quiet I got before the Diddy doc? He wrote, Dame thought I wasn't coming. That wasn't random talk. That was a message. And nobody needed it explained.
Now, since 50 posted that he's doing the documentary, maybe you believe him. He just posted it this morning. But anybody in the loop knows that T.I. and Tiny have had several allegations of SA.
He wasn't saying he was about to drop another song. He was signaling something much bigger. The plan wasn't to out-rap T.I., it was to put together a full story, get it on a major platform, and let the cameras do the work. The same formula that already shook the industry once. And then came the title, the part that made everything feel even heavier. Because the title itself wasn't just a name, it was the real weapon. Surviving T.I. and Tiny. That title alone told people everything they needed to know. Anyone who had been paying attention to entertainment news over the past few years instantly understood what it was pointing to and why it felt so serious. The name wasn't random either. It clearly mirrored the style and tone of Sean Combs' The Reckoning, which made the situation feel even more intense. People immediately connected the dots and saw what kind of project this was being shaped into. Reports started circulating that the documentary idea was meant to revisit past allegations that had been publicly discussed involving T.I. and Tiny, bringing those topics back into the spotlight again. And the timing, it couldn't have been more critical for their public image. Then things got even louder. Gossip journalist Tasha K, known for being involved in major celebrity controversies, claimed she spoke to sources close to 50's team. According to her, the project was already in development. Now, to be clear, those claims haven't been officially confirmed. But in the world of hip-hop and online drama, you don't always need proof for things to spread fast. Just the rumor alone was enough to get people talking. And that alone can shift public perception. And 50, he understands exactly how that works better than most. That's why that post, even though it was deleted, felt very intentional from the start. He dropped that post at peak time too, when everybody's online and watching. Within minutes, it was screenshotted, reposted, and spreading across every platform like wildfire. The headlines basically wrote themselves. And then just like that, he deleted it. But that was the move, because now there was just enough smoke left in the air to make people wonder, is something already in motion behind the scenes? That kind of mystery keeps people locked in. And the caption? It wasn't subtle at all. I hope this doesn't mess up your promo tour. They're gonna ask about your 20 assault cases. That line hit directly at T.Y.'s rollout. No coincidence there. T.I. had been setting up his album, Kill the King, as a major moment, his final statement, a project meant to close out his career on his own terms, with control over his story. Every interview was supposed to focus on the music. Every appearance was meant to celebrate his legacy. But with one post, 50 shifted the entire conversation. Now, instead of music, people were looking at something else entirely. And when it comes to those past allegations, things are not simple. There are a lot of claims, responses, and legal layers that have been debated publicly, and different sides have presented very different versions of events. Back in March 2021, attorney Tyrone A. Blackburn held a press conference that drew major attention. He stated that multiple women had come forward with serious accusations involving T.I. and Tiny, describing alleged incidents that were said to span years and multiple locations. These are serious claims, and they've been strongly disputed by T.I. and Tiny. But once those topics re-enter the spotlight, especially at a moment like this, the impact spreads fast, and it changes the entire narrative around everything. The accusations were detailed and serious, and they took over entertainment news for weeks. Everywhere people looked, the story was front and center, sparking non-stop debate and reactions. The LAPD even opened a formal investigation. Law enforcement took the claims seriously enough to review them closely and speak with potential witnesses. This wasn't something brushed off. It got real attention. But after going through the process, no criminal charges were filed. The main reason came down to the statute of limitations. Too much time had passed between when the alleged incidents were said to have happened and when the complaints were formally brought forward. That legal detail matters because it doesn't automatically mean innocence or guilt. It means the system has strict time limits. And in this case, that window had already closed. On the civil side, things continued for longer. There were ongoing legal battles and filings. But in August 2024, a federal judge dismissed one of the most high-profile civil cases. According to T.I. and Tiny's legal team, the court determined that the plaintiff did not have viable claims to move forward. Even with that outcome, the conversation around the situation didn't just disappear. It stayed active and continued to shape public opinion. T.I. and Tiny have stayed consistent from the very beginning. Their stance hasn't changed at all. We are innocent of these fake claims. We will not be shaken down. That's the position they've repeated publicly and legally. And in court, they've had outcomes that worked in their favor. Criminal investigations were closed. Civil cases were dismissed. Those are real legal results that carry weight inside the justice system. But 50 Cent, he wasn't playing the legal game. He was moving in a completely different space, the media world. And in that space, perception can move way faster than any courtroom decision ever could. That's where things get unpredictable. And 50 already showed he knows exactly how to control that environment. Curtis Jackson didn't build his reputation by chance. Every phase of his career has been calculated, from battle rapper to chart-topping artist, then into online trolling, and now into full-scale documentary production. Each step added a new level to how he moves and how much impact he can create. Back in the early 2000s, diss tracks were the weapon. Careers could take serious hits off music alone. By the 2010s, it shifted. Instagram became the battlefield. Posts, memes, captions, and perfectly timed uploads could embarrass someone in front of millions before they even started their day. But by the mid-2020s, 50 leveled up again. Now he's working with something the industry isn't fully prepared to handle. And that shift changed the rules completely. The Diddy documentary made everything crystal clear. It showed in the strongest way possible that 50 Cent had stepped into a whole different level of influence. This wasn't just music anymore. Now he could attach his name to a project that lives on a platform like Netflix. That means it doesn't disappear. It stays there, gets pushed by algorithms, and keeps reaching new audiences for years. And once something like that is out, it can shape how people see someone long term. Even when Netflix clarified that 50 didn't have full creative control and that participants weren't paid, it didn't really change how people reacted. Because at the end of the day, the impact is what people remember. And then 50 took it even further. After the doc dropped, he mentioned that there were around 140 hours of extra footage that didn't make the final version. That statement alone got attention. He even suggested that content like that could be released directly online. No network, no gatekeepers, no delays. That kind of move isn't small talk. It shows how much control he can have over how stories are told and shared. And now people were connecting the dots. If that same approach gets aimed at T.I., it's not just about a rap battle anymore. Because there's a big difference between someone dissing you in a song and someone putting together a full documentary about you. One fades over time. The other sticks around, shows up in searches, and follows your name everywhere. That kind of presence doesn't go away. And 50, he understands that better than almost anyone. So now the real question started spreading everywhere. What does this mean for T.I. moving forward? T.I. is standing in a position no artist ever wants to be in. At the same time, he's trying to lock in his legacy while also defending his name against someone with real power who seems determined to challenge it. Kill the King was meant to be his final chapter, a closing statement from one of the most respected MCs of the 2000s. This is someone who helped shape Atlanta's rise and played a role in building what the world now knows as trap music. Everything was lined up. A #1 record, a full promo run, and a proper victory lap after years in the game. The kind of moment artists work their whole careers for. But now, that moment feels overshadowed. Every conversation tied to that album seems to carry a cloud over it. And that cloud has 50 Cent's name all over it. And 50 didn't just keep it behind the scenes. He brought it straight into the music too. On the Power Origins theme connected to his TV universe, he delivered a line referencing the allegations surrounding T.I. and Tiny. The lyric was sharp and direct, leaving no room for confusion about what he was aiming at. That wasn't Sluchiny wording, it was intentional. A calculated move designed to keep those topics active in headlines, online discussions, and public conversations surrounding T.I. Because once something like that enters the public space, it doesn't just fade away. It sticks, it spreads, and it keeps getting revisited. Now here's the part that has everyone watching closely. The documentary itself hasn't been officially confirmed. No network announcement, no release date, nothing locked in publicly. But that doesn't mean people are ignoring it. Because 50 has built a reputation where even the idea of a move like this feels real. When he went quiet before the Diddy documentary, people didn't take it seriously at first. And that's exactly why now. Nobody's laughing. Nobody is laughing this time. The mood has completely shifted, and now everyone's watching closely. So here's the question that really sticks with you after all of this. Is 50 Cent moving like a fearless truth teller, putting a spotlight on things the system couldn't fully address? Or is this something more personal? A long-running grudge backed by money, media power, and timing, using past allegations as fuel in what started as a rap situation? That line between justice and revenge, it's never looked this unclear. And T.I.'s legacy might depend on how people answer that question moving forward. Because once narratives like this take hold, they don't just disappear, they shape how history remembers everything. Now I want to hear what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's talk about it. If you rocked with this breakdown, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Don't forget to subscribe to Holly Hype TV for more updates and turn on notifications so you stay locked in every time we drop something new. And make sure to share this video so more people can join the conversation. Catch you in the next one.